This is video one of a sort of audio and video commentary series for Marathon Phoenix for Aleph One. My name is Ryoko TK. This is going to be like a level commentary and sort of design document on my scenario, which is Marathon Phoenix. The first video here is going to be on the first two levels. It's Botany Bay, which you're looking at right now, and then the following level, A Space Marine is You, which is the first real level of the scenario. This level is just an expository level, and there's just a couple terminals getting you acclimated with sort of the backstory of the scenario. It has one secret on it, which is the little computer console that had ammo behind it. This is going to be a sort of a guide for finding all the secrets as well. This is A Space Marine is You. The transition is pretty quick. The first secret was a guitar hidden behind one of the stasis pods. You're looking at the first level that was made for Marathon Phoenix. This was A Space Marine is You. This was made, oh man, probably 2008 or something. And when I first went around making Marathon Phoenix, I tried to do it in more or less a chronological order. So this was the earliest map made, and you can kind of tell. Its role in the game is just to get you acclimated to the new guns and sort of the pacing of how the gameplay is going to work. Phoenix, as you may know, is a very action-oriented game, which is unusual for Marathon, which tends to be a little more meandering, a little more indirect, a little more plot-driven, atmospheric. Phoenix takes a more Doom-like approach, which is to say, it's all about the combat, it's all about flow, it's all about the rhythm of going from room to room. And it's all about finding, exploring and finding secrets, of which you're looking at one right now, which is a purple can. This is the second skull on the map. There are, as you can see, 140 skulls in Phoenix. This series will cover all 140, span across all 35 levels. And as you can see, the combat on this level is pretty, it's light, but it's pretty good relative to a lot of other Marathon scenarios, specifically a lot of first levels of Marathon scenarios. And that was a big thing for me right away, because most Marathon scenarios, they tend to start very tediously paced. With, you get your one little pistol, and you're just fighting a couple of fighters at a time. It's very slow, it's very boring. And it's boring in part because we've done it already. As Marathon gamers, we've already done Waterloo Water Park and Arrival, where you get your one pistol and you fight the fighters. And it's slow. And it's kind of discouraging when you're doing it for the 7th time. Phoenix, one of my design philosophies was assuming a certain level of familiarity and a certain level of veterancy with Marathon. So I bust out of the gate pretty quickly, pitting you up against troopers and hunters in the first level and giving you a weapon that is actually pretty competent in the IMP, which is the machine pistol, the little blue and gray thing. I am pretty pleased with how it turned out. As you can see, it tears apart these fighters pretty well, immediately putting the fighters in their place as sort of trash enemies, and also helping you contend against hunters and troopers right out of the gate. But they're still threatening. You can see I'm almost dead here. By the way, I am playing on Total Carnage. I've played Phoenix probably 50 times throughout all of its versions on Total Carnage. So I'm pretty good at it. I will still die a lot because this is a very hard game. I actually already died once on this level. And I will probably edit the majority of the deaths out. One of the reasons why I'm doing post-commentary is so I can edit the deaths out, because on some of the later levels I will die a lot. And I may leave some deaths in, probably just to pad out the running time a little bit so I can talk more, but the majority of the deaths I will edit out. Anyway, getting back to The Space Marine is You. This level, as you have seen, is mostly corridors in relatively small spaces, and it's a very linear map. The whole objective of the map is to close a hangar door and trap a couple of juggernauts inside the hangar, which we're about to go fight. And it's a very controlled map with some very controlled fights, just to get you warmed up to how this game is going to operate. It's pretty simple and pretty straightforward, and I get a lot more expansive and a lot more creative with the later level layouts. But this one's pretty simple, and as a result, I actually don't care for it that much because there's really nothing to it, and I'm not really a fan of the architecture either. It's pretty chunky, and I mean, my style is pretty chunky in general, but I'm not too pleased with how this one turned out, just because it's a little on the low res side. The Juggernaut fight that I just ended is actually my favorite part of the level, and in my head, the whole level builds up to this point, because you're fighting Juggernauts on the first level of a scenario, which is very unusual. And I designed that to sort of turn the scenario on its head, because, you compare it to Marathon 2, you fight Juggernauts at the end. You don't even see Juggernauts until the last level of the game. And now you're in Marathon Phoenix, and there's the Juggernauts right there at the start. But you're packing a new upgraded fusion pistol, you got a bunch of spit on your side. You kick those Juggernauts' asses pretty easily. But that's the whole point, is to set the scale. That's going to wrap up the first level of Space Marine as You. We'll see you next time.